Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I like this line I saw from Jim Gaffigan. I think he said it a while back, but I just wanted to share it because I like it so much. Jim said, dads are kind of like the backup quarterback in the NFL. You're on the team, but you're not the star. On the rare occasion that you're brought into the game, people are nervous, you know? You're good for a play or two, but then people are like, when's the starter coming back? Tom Segura had Matt Rife on a few weeks back, a really fantastic discussion, and Tom Segura was quite surprised, as was I, that Matt Rife says Comedy Central wasn't interested in hiring Matt Rife. The guy's huge. Rife said they've been very fortunate to have South Park and The Daily Show be like the continued staples of the network, but all these other things they do, they're kind of like come and go. It's like, I've always wanted to change that. I've always wanted to have that conversation with Comedy Central to be like, give somebody with a young, fresh fan base to project a run that can bring your network back to what it used to be as a comedy network. Segura said, you could get that meeting. Rife said, I've had it. They don't bat an eye. Comedy Central's never given me the time of day. Segura, even now? Rife, never. The fact that they don't want to entertain the idea is bonkers. I'm big on creativity. Take a chance. I get that you're a business. I get that you have to go by the numbers and risk can cost a lot of money, but it's like your channel's never going to grow. Your network's never going to go back up. WTOP spoke to Jobrani, one of my favorite comedians. I like Maz a lot. He hopes to bring people together with his Mr. International Comedy Tour at the Kennedy Center 2 nights, tonight and tomorrow. Maz said, it's Mr. International because I wanted Mr. Worldwide, but Pitbull has that. I'm the other bald guy. I tour all over the world, so I was like, what are we going to call this? In my act, I talk about my travels. Back in the day, stand-up comedy was just national. You do the comedy clubs in America, but now myself and a lot of comedians are in the Middle East, Australia, Europe, Asia. It's really become an international art form. He spoke about the current world situation. I'm a human being, so when I see the fighting, the wars, and all the atrocities, it breaks my heart. I understand people who say it's not a time to laugh, and I get it. They can't imagine going somewhere and laughing. My job is to hopefully bring laughter and escape for an hour and a half or 2 hours and bring people together. People from different backgrounds come together, and we laugh together and find our common humanity. With the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I saw pundits saying we have Afghan and Palestinian refugees coming, claiming they're going to be dangerous to America. I just like to remind America that the biggest threat to America are Americans. Statistically speaking, immigrants have contributed to America. We're the land that accepts of refugees. In his show, Maz says, I talk about being a parent, I talk about getting older. My kids are now teenagers, and it's a strange thing to go in this phase of their life, and now we have to wrap our heads around them no longer being our babies. I have an aunt who still talks to me like I'm a baby. I'm 51 years old, and when she talks to me, it's like, how you doing, Mazzy Wazzy? I'm like, I'm not Mazzy Wazzy, I'm 51. My daughter's 12, my son is 15, and anyone who has teenagers knows their rooms are a mess. It looks like the Tasmanian devil went in and did circles. There was a father, mother, and their teenage daughter in the audience, and I go, how old are you, young lady? And she says, oh, I'm 17. Let me ask you a question. Do their rooms get cleaner? The father fell out of his seat laughing. Switching topics, Maz said specials are a double-edged sword for comedians because people can watch the special, but then they come to your show and they go, wait, I already heard these jokes. You got to write new jokes. And as you're watching your own special, you're like, oh, that's so cool. The world can see it now. And then you go, oh, no, the world can see it now. So I've been working on new material. Fortune Feimster apparently is a soccer player. Who knew? She spoke to the West Virginia Gazette and said, I'm really good at sports. I played tennis in college, played all 4 years, and I played soccer. She even played in a soccer league in LA for 15 years. Fortune said, once I got out of the college level, I hated all the running, so I ended up playing in a 7-on-7 league. The style was more aggressive, but required less running. Unfortunately, she said, then the pandemic hit and destroyed the league, like it did a lot of things. Entertainment Weekly asked James Austin Johnson what's been different about doing the social media videos of Donald Trump versus doing Trump on Saturday Night Live. James said, yeah, when I was just walking around making videos, I was just goofing off and being silly with my friends. Then I got to SNL and started doing Trump sketches, and it still felt like goofing off with my friends. It definitely has more eyes on it. But the videos that eventually led to me getting to do cool stuff like SNL, I was just making those to entertain my coworkers. When I worked in a warehouse in LA, folding hoodies for rappers and rock bands, I was just doing Trump to them to make them laugh. And now I just want to make everyone laugh in the office at SNL. EW asked him, of all the SNL hosts you've worked with so far, what's been the most memorable experience? James said, well, my first episode was also Owen Wilson's first episode. So we both learned how to read cue cards at the same time. We basically just learned how to do SNL at the same time. We happened to be in a couple sketches together, so we chatted and we bonded over the new guy thing. James, are there any impressions you haven't done yet that you want to do on the show? He said, I love those old text-to-speech voices on an old Mac computer. You know what I'm talking about? You know how sometimes your battery would be running low? My favorite voice was Bruce. If you pick Bruce, it would be like, and I don't know what the impression is here. He does, please plug in your MacBook. I'm dying to play Bruce from the Mac OS from the 90s. One day, I'll write the perfect sketch for Bruce from Mac OS, and it's going to blow everyone's mind. The minute the world hears this Bruce voice, it's over. I still haven't gotten to see The Shark is Broken. It's on my list, and I have to use my Today Ticks code, DCN, to go see it. But Richard Dreyfus, who was in Jaws, he saw The Shark is Broken. He's criticizing it for what he says are inaccuracies and for making him look like a big jerk. He told Vanity Fair, I went to see it to see if it was really going to hurt. It did. If you don't know what this is, The Shark is Broken is based on Robert Shaw's diary. It depicts a long-rumored feud between Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw during the film Jaws' Hurry Up and Wait Cape Cod shooting. Dreyfus, as played by Alex Brightman, is depicted as neurotic and insecure, while Shaw's nonstop drinking continually slows down in a ready, torturous shoot. Dreyfus told Vanity Fair, when we were surrounded by lots of other people, Robert would take digs at me and I'd take a dig at him. It was only to make the hours go better faster. We didn't take any of that seriously. 30 years after the film is over, I start to hear this thing about a feud. I didn't pay too much attention. Dreyfus has some harsh words for screenwriter Carl Gottlieb and for Steven Spielberg for, as Vanity Fair says, what he perceives as their role in spreading the story about his relationship with Shaw. Dreyfus says, I don't think they gave it any thought that it would hurt me, and it did. I have to say that Carl and Steven knew better, because there was no feud. There was an ongoing kind of humor between us. If you only saw us on the set, you might think there was something. The feud was going on, but it was never real, never, and I hold that against Carl and Steven. Oh no, The Shark is Broken closes November 19th. I gotta get cracking on this. I've been busy. Did I mention there's a marathon Sunday? That's what I've been doing with all my time. All right, I gotta try and see this in the next 2 weeks. Let's see who is at the 312 Comedy Festival tonight. This in Chicago, where they don't have calendar technology and they just post the shows in alphabetical order. So I have to just scroll down and find one. Come on, guys. You got to do better with this website. Nate Bargatze at the Chicago Theater tonight. John Christ is at Rialto Square. Nicole Byer at the Riviera Theater. Dan Cummins at the Vic. That's a great venue. Gals on the Go at Park West. And some smaller shows. What time are these shows? I don't know. Get your website together, folks. Like the New York Comedy Festival has theirs together. I went to nycomedyfestival.com/schedule and clicked date. That's how you do it. The New York Comedy Festival is an interesting one. I'm a New Yorker, and New York is just too big. You go to other cities, and when they have a comedy festival, it kind of takes over the city. In New York, this thing tends to be invisible despite the really fantastic acts and the really great job that the people organizing this festival do, and there's some really famous venues involved. New York's just too big, but some of the shows tonight, Daniel Sloss at Town Hall at 7 o'clock, Ladies Who Ranch at 7 at the Brooklyn Comedy Collective, An Evening with Chicken Big at the Brooklyn Comedy Collective, also at 7. I'm clicking on this. What is this? You are cordially invited to An Evening with Chicken Big, a soiree of seriously absurd, seriously classy comedy. Chicken Big are the 3 dumbest, richest, most powerful guys you've ever seen, and together they will create an experience that has never happened before. Prior evenings have included a black tie gala, an event masseuse, a birthday clown, a giant baby, a game of tug-of-war with the entire audience, and a live human piñata. Sounds like a fun, wacky improv show. Joy Behar at the Manhattan Movement North Center at 7. Natalie Rotter-Lateman, Life is Life at Union Hall at 7. Sabrina Wu at the Bell House at 7:30. Jeff Ross at the Hard Rock at 8. Jordan Jensen at the Stand at 8. Aida Rodriguez, Chelsea Music Hall, 8:30. The wonderfully titled Casual Sax at 9:30 at Club Cumming. An all-horn-y night for all. Love it. Zach Zimmerman plays the Littlefield at 10. And I did not read you all the shows. Good start for the New York Comedy Festival. And speaking of the recently mentioned Zach Zimmerman, he's one of Vulture's 25 comedians you should watch. All right, what reality show would you be good at? He said, The Amazing Race. I think I could easily charm locals by appearing helpless and appealing to their inner sense of pity. And I'm a good driver, but not with a stick. Look, if you're going on Amazing Race, you got to learn how to drive a stick. It comes up. Do I know how to drive a stick? No, but if you tell me I'm going on Amazing Race, I will learn. Much like if you go on Survivor, learn how to make a fire. It's going to come up. Zach says, I couldn't do any of the bungee jumping or skydiving, but that's what your partner is for. Yeah, my son and I watch the show together, and we play along like, all right, I'll do this one, you do this one. None of that bungee jumping, heights thing, I can't do it. That's all him. I'll eat the bugs. Best comedy advice, worst comedy advice? Best. Greer Barnes told me, you're welcoming the audience into your mind, which reminded me that even though I'm there to entertain, I'm in charge. Worst advice? Life is like a box of chocolates. That's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on various apps, including Pocket Cast and Overcast and Spotify, and I guess Apple has one too, but not for back catalog episodes, I'll tell you that much. All right, see you tomorrow.